No, that literally was so funny that I actually laughed I unplugged my microphone cable. I fell over laughing. I just enjoyed every moment of that payoff to that joke. Like, you have no idea how long I worked on that Zendeja joke. Now, his name is actually Zlatkikakitatakatakatakon, which they butchered all night.
And he was not the champion. Let's get that straight right now.
Dude, how did they, like, literally, they just fed a dude to
Yeah.
Mikey Garcia to give him
Yes,
a
they
belt.
did. Yes, they did. And it's not a real belt, though. The real champion of that lightweight division is Jorge Linares. He just unified against Anthony Corolla. They're
I'm
doing a
sorry, based on my knowledge, now that
right.
Garcia has the WBA title, he's the man who beat the man who beat the
No,
man
no,
who
no.
beat
That was
the
the
man.
WBC.
No.
He won like the WBC probably interim title. He is not the champion. When I watched this kid Zakati or whatever his name
Let's go
was.
with Zendeja, because really it's a payoff to a
All right,
much bigger joke that
Zendaya.
made my day.
When in the first round, you could see he was not the champion. He didn't know how to get in the inside. He was throwing punches from a distance that was never going to hit Garcia. He had short arms. Garcia hurts him early. Showtime doesn't even catch it. You know, when the guy finally got knocked out, they made this whole big thing out of it. BS, the first punch that actually Garcia lands, if anyone watches this fight, the guy couldn't take that one. He had never been in the ring with anyone like Mikey before. When I seen the way he fought, and you know what? Sorry to the Fight Net fans that I didn't call this before, because I seen the 18-0-11 and I gave him a shot. I don't know what 18 opponents he was facing, but he did not look anywhere near the top 10 of the lightweight division when he fought Mikey Garcia. Not at all. He didn't even know. I don't even know. Did he land a punch last night? That could
None,
be a question.
none whatsoever.
That was pathetic.
By the way,
And
that was
this is
the
where
whole. That's where
this.
the whole. He's got to learn to feint. That Paul Malignaggi famous. He's got to
Yeah,
feint.
he couldn't get on the
He just
inside.
keeps
I mean,
he just keeps walking him down, thinking that that's gonna work. Zendeja's got to do something. Like, I
Lee, this is
guarantee. I'm gonna say this. I guarantee. I'm getting all worked up. I guarantee that was the first time Paul Malignaggi ever saw this guy fight. I
this
guarantee it.
this is my. Oh yeah, of course. This is my notes for that fight. Round one. Garcia wins by outboxing, cleaner punches. Champion had trouble getting on the inside. Round two. Garcia doing the same thing. Round three. Walking straight forward, no defense, easy work, knockout.
Okay, now let's talk about this knockout, because this knockout was spectacular, which made it all
But
worthwhile.
you don't let a puncher, you don't
Like,
give
I
him
was
an
getting
open
bored with
shot.
the fight. Like, I knew the outcome of the fight, so I started
Right,
to, and I had it
right.
recorded. So now I'm on slow fast forward, watching the same shit over and over each round, and then all of a sudden it was over. So I had to hit pause and I rewound it.
You're terrible, Lee.
Well, dude, when you see a fight where a guy's just putting his head down like an old-timey fighter, that's what they kept saying. It looks like a throwback. Like,
Look like an amateur to me.
that's what he looked like.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean,
It was
off,
it was
off.
really disturbing how much punishment he was taking in the fight, but I wasn't going to watch 12 rounds of him walking down Garcia to just get beat by a jab.
95 of them in 2 rounds. Tell me
It was brutal. I mean,
they
it was legit brutal.
they knew they were facing a nobody.
Okay, so I finally see there's a knockout. So I rewind and I watch it. And I enjoyed it. So I rewound it again. And I watched it again. And then I watched the slow-mo like 4 different times because I enjoyed it so much.
I'm gonna tell you, you look like Michael Carbajal last night to me. I know
Oh
he's a
my
lot bigger.
God, that's
The hair, was it just the hair
yeah,
flying
I think
around?
it's the hair. But no, the punch was Carbajal like. I mean,
Yeah.
Carbajal, I'm a huge Carbajal guy. The reason Fight Net Radio exists, the reason that I got into boxing as a passionate fan is because back in the 90s, I think the first fight in Vegas that I ever went to was a Michael Carbajal fight at Caesar's Palace out in the back pavilion, and he was fighting a Korean. I met Al Bernstein that night. I met Sammy Hagar that night. And here's how much of a punch for those of you going, who's Michael Carbajal? Well, you weren't born yet, so shut the fuck up. Well, that's what happens when the fight happens almost 30 years ago. Yeah. He fought this Korean champion, right? Typical Top Rank, right? Just bring in somebody who's got the champion moniker. I heard.
Go ahead, because I've got something about that championship. I didn't actually see the
punch. I heard the punch. I remember turning my head, going, "Oh, look, another celebrity," and I heard, "Wham!" Like I heard a noise that was uncomfortable, and it was like bleacher style in one of their back pavilions. But I heard the punch. It happened while I wasn't looking, and the fight was over. And I was watching the videotape of it happen again and again. Mikey Garcia, like Carbajal, start that right hook way the hell out there. I mean, like they bring it. It's almost like Chuck Liddell. They bring it back and they arch their back and they start that thing from like 180 degrees.
Like Trinidad's left hook.
Yes.
Remember that left hook? It almost back of his ass when he started that thing coming at you.
Yes, and I apologize for everybody for coughing. I'm falling apart. I'm still enjoying my good laugh from the Zendeja joke that I paid off. Yeah. And that's what that dude stepped back. He had already dropped his guard and he was already a mess. And Mikey Garcia literally arched his back like he was on a swivel chair and then brought a right hand around that just blew the face off this dude. He was out for a while. I mean,
social media went absolutely insane, thinking he was dead.
No,
it was.
At no point did I think he was dead because
exactly. We've been there. I know. We've seen these knockouts before, but oh my god, my feed just blew up. It was incredible.
But it was pretty shocking.
Great knockout. Knockout.
Look. Same thing. When I watch UFC or I want a knockout. Sorry. I know that makes me, you don't appreciate the science. I appreciate the science, but there is nothing better than a clenched right fist knocking a dude out. It's fucking primal. That's why you're watching. If you're telling me you're watching boxing to watch a shoulder roll, you're lying to me.
No, you don't. You don't. That's why there's only like one fighter a generation that can make money with that style. If we had all of our fighters doing shoulder rolls, boxing wouldn't even be in Las Vegas.
Shit. That's why everybody is so fond about Mike Tyson. But at the time, because most of you don't really remember it because you weren't born yet, people didn't like Tyson fights. They were all too freaking short. Like, people would be walking in with their drinks late to those Vegas fights.
Yeah.
And the fights are over.
The ticket line got you late to the knockout, right. You know?
You had to be on time. When Mike hit that ring, Mike's not getting paid by the hour. Mike's going in to do his business and get it over. Same with Carbajal. I can name off fighters that were like that. I'm going to go in there as quick and as hard and as fast as I can. Cool.
Back to Garcia, Lee, and this whole championship fiasco that they were trying to serve up last night. This is what hurts the sport, because now you see everyone that watched that fight that liked what Mikey Garcia did. They're going to come up to someone who knows boxing, say me, yourself, any of us listening. You're going to have some friend come up and go, "Hey, did you see that guy knocked that dude out the other day? Now he's the champ. He's the champ. What's his name?" And you're going to go, "Yeah, it's Mikey Garcia, but he's not really the champ." And then they're going to respond with, "What are you talking about? They said on the telecast that he's the WBC champ." No, there's
nobody watched. Hey, based on the numbers,
no, they're going to
really
watch. Hey, Lee, you're going to say, "No, it's this guy Jorge Linares, who's the actual WBC lightweight champ. He's unified. He has 2 belts in the division right now." No, it's not. It's just, it hurts boxing. Why the hell can't we give these fighters a pretty belt so their egos don't get hurt, but then still call him the number 1 fucking contender? That's what Mikey was last night. That's all he turned into. He is not a 2-division champ because there is a fighter in that division that has the real WBC belt. That is insane. I don't know why boxing does it. Do you see any other sport go, oh, they're the division champ, and that's the division champ too?
You're preaching to the choir.
People,
I don't think we need interim champions. I don't think, if we're going to have this many belts, then you've got one champion for one belt. That's great. Sell your belt. Okay. I still only I'm going to say this. I'm going to keep saying it. I only recognize 4 belts. Recognize 4 belts.
That's all there is. All this other shit is just for show, people. Don't walk around saying Mikey Garcia is the champ. We used to preach the same thing when we would get those press releases and it would say 5-time division champ Robert Guerrero. What? Right. 3 of those were number 1 contender slots.
I agree.
Look at the sanctioning bodies need to make their titles, because this is a world sport. Guys' egos get hurt when they don't get their shots at the champ. We get why they made these belts, but they need to do a better job of classifying what these belts are. Just calling guys 2 champions in each division is stupid. Why can't say the WBC is a green belt? Make the number 1 contender belt a green belt, just a different shade of green. Give it all the diamonds, all the gold, all the glitter that you want so the guy feels happy. But then at least the fans will recognize, oh, yeah, that's the number 1 ranking. Oh, that's the number 2 ranking. And then that should be it. 3 belts. The other 2 should be different colors, still green, just different color greens. And I think they would solve that little problem they have of why they made so many belts throughout the boxing's history anyways. But what they were doing last night is fucking confusing, and then it makes your sport sound stupid when you got to correct someone.
Wait, by the way, our sport is stupid. I mean, we've got the IBO, which is riding on the IBF. We got the WBO that really was riding off the WBC, right? It's honestly, there should be just a WBA title. I don't know where these other organizations came from. For those that are wondering, yeah, that's the title that dates back to the title when there were only, 12 champions?
Mikey Garcia is 36-0 with 30 knockouts. He's the number 1 contender in the lightweight division. Why doesn't that sound cool enough already? All this fake title shit, it's too much. I'm telling you, last night was a joke. That dude he fought was not the champ. That wasn't the champ at all. Matter of fact, I don't even know how he got the WBC whatever belt. I don't even know what belt it was, because the assholes were trying to make it sound like that was the number 1 thing. That Showtime was not classifying if that was the diamond belt, was that the intern belt, was that the silver belt. They just kept saying champion.
As they should. We turn it over to Steve Farhood in the ring right now.
Mikey's in a tough division. Let me tell you, Lee, the past of Mikey Garcia was one that had a story that said he didn't like the opponents at Top Rank. He didn't want to face Eureka Gamboa. He didn't want to face Terrence Crawford. Now, are these stories true? Who knows? But this is what was being said about Mikey Garcia, and this is why he left Top Rank, went to the PBC. Mikey right now is in the lightweight division. The lightweight division has 2 undefeated other champions, Robert Easter Jr. and Rance Barthélemy. Both of these guys are PBC guys. Mikey could easily fight one of them. That Rance Barthélemy, I think, is a little bit better. Robert Easter's very young. I believe he just won his title last year. So that could be a possible opponent for him. After that, he's got Jorge Linares as the true WBC champ and WBA. And then he's got a name by Felix Verdejo in that lightweight division. And I think if you listen to Mikey Garcia's interview, I think that's why he says he wants to unify the belt, which means probably he's going to take on Robert Easter Jr., who's a PBC guy who's very young. 18 wins is all he has. That's a lot easier fight. And then he wants to move to 140. And it sounds good because you're passing Felix Verdejo. We all know Garcia. Listen to me right now. Anyone who knows him, tell him. Mikey Garcia versus Felix Verdejo is the best fight in lightweights right now. Period. that makes the most money